folks, to another episode of Studiopunk. This is the first episode, and I purchased Ableton 10. I've been using Ableton for a while, and version 8, 9, all those sub versions, and you sort of have to justify the expense of purchasing the new one. So that's why I'm a little bit late to the game when it comes to this version of Ableton. However, I have purchased it now, and I've gone over everything, and I really like it. It's really cool. It's the first thing you notice when you install it is they've improved the 3D graphics of it, and initially it's funny, that's why you'd go Ableton for live performances, because it was very two-dimensional, and there was a reason for that. It's to minimize the use of system resources. The obvious thing is, even with previous versions, people were making their own plugs for it anyways, do you know what I mean, their own skins and things. So, it's for them to release it with this new look, it looks good, it looks cool. The play button, the stop and record, all that sort of, it's sitting into the interface now, and not sort of like a button to push. So yeah, that's the first thing you notice. That's from the visuals, or the aesthetics side of things. Obviously I started going through the new synthesis that comes with it. Wavetable is one of them. I've been going through that. Obviously it's a dual oscillator synth, with a multitude of wavetables that you can modify and all that kind of thing. So basically it's an inbuilt version of Serum, which you can see that Ableton, they realized what they needed to do. They needed to bundle a synthesizer or synthesis of that nature, because they can then make it work better with the application. There's that. There's also, what else? Oh yeah, the auto record functionality. It's obviously, I did see prior to me purchasing this, when it was first released, before it was released, it was in beta and people were talking about this function. It's cool. It's very cool. Basically, being a producer, I know a number of you do this as well. Is that every now and again you just get this bright moment. You sit down, you sit on the instrument, and you make a sound, and you're like, holy crap, man, how did that happen? Or chord progression, or keys, or something, and you go back to it to do it again with record enabled, and you forget, or you will not forget, but you just can't generate that same thing you just did. Well, Ableton has the ability to record automatically. So every time you do something like that, it's all going. It's in there. I don't know how they do it. I haven't had much of a play with that feature yet, but it's whoever thought of that is very very switched on, very bright. I like that. That's something that I don't believe the other DAWs have. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it's cool anyway. So you can turn it off and on as well, I've seen. So yeah, that's Ableton. Another thing, I got a question on the introduction, which I think is really cool. Thank you. Keep the questions coming. And I will once again apologise for the delay of this episode. I've recently booked a flight to Amsterdam for ADE, and I've been so busy getting things ready for that, like working the label, trying to get tracks out, trying to get artwork done, the new brand Studiopunk, trying to get artwork done for that, because I want to get apparel done. There's just so much going on, emailing for meetings, like a constant. So yeah, that's why I haven't had a chance to do this vlog. I'm hoping to be able to do a recording whilst I'm in Amsterdam if I find time. I may not, because I'm going to be so busy, but I'll try anyways. Anyways, one of the questions was, what do you think of bass traps? Yeah, it's a long thing. Basically, as I mentioned, I spent a lot of time acoustically treating this room correctly. Okay, so I researched and I measured, and obviously the monitor speakers are in a triangle type fashion, equal distance apart from me and also themselves. So they obviously That's the preferred or the optimal setup. All that back wall's acoustically treated, so with absorption panels, so they absorb all the sounds going behind the speakers, so there's no deflection from the wall at me. So in other words, you're just trying to get the driest sound you possibly can, okay, and with very, very minimal reverberation. And the way to test is after you've done the acoustic treatment, just click your fingers in the room and you'll be able to see how dry the room is. And then on the back wall, you've got diffuser panels. And what they do is they diffuse the sound at the walls, and then the walls obviously you then put more absorption panels, so then they just absorb the sound as well. And when it comes to bass traps, bass it's an omnidirectional sound, okay, so it will sort of just, it'll cover a wide area. When it comes to a surface, it builds up, okay, that's how it works, and it sort of ventures to the easiest path for it to take, and that would be in the corners or the edges of the walls, okay. So in the corners, it then bundles up, it builds up. So that's why it's good to have bass traps in each corner, okay. And yeah, would I rate them? Definitely. This whole room acoustically treated is just amazing. Like I've never had anything like it in my life, and I do recommend it to anybody that's thinking about acoustically treating a room. What I did as well is you don't have to use, okay, the way to attach the panels to the wall, the correct way is, well, from what I've researched, is to use liquid nails, okay? So you just, yeah, but I don't want this to be a permanent thing. If I move away, I want to take the panels with me. So what I used was double-sided tape, and obviously the double-sided tape didn't attach to the panels correctly, so I super glued the tape to the panels and then just taped to the walls. The bass traps are very heavy, so they needed more than that, so I just used real thin nails and pins and just hammered them into certain parts. I learnt these things from other people that have done very similar things, and it works perfectly. So that's how I attach them to the walls. So yeah, when it comes to acoustic treatment, it's something I got into. Usually for mastering engineers and things like that, they would do that. But if you're really into your sound and you want to get the most out of each track you produce, I definitely recommend it. There's no two ways about it. Like I've never had this ability to do this before. I've always been producing in headphones, wherever, if I was traveling, whatever, out of my laptop, and you just never, headphones you can produce very accurately, but honestly, you need multiple sources to produce on, for one. And two, recently I sent a track off for mastering that was produced in headphones in London, and the bass was all wrong. You know what I'm saying? So like certain sounds aren't overlooked, especially with a lot of headphones. I mean, mine have quite a zero EQ, but a lot of them do have boosters and things on in certain parts of the frequency range. And you don't want that, because that's not what it's telling you that the bass is bigger or smaller when it's not. You know what I'm saying? You need to have as zero EQ'd as possible, and there you go. I've been struggling to get this episode up because of so much going on, but look, I'm hoping the next episodes there'll be more frequent. There'll be a lot more going on. I've also spoken to a few people. I want to make trips to other people's studios, just to show everyone how they do things, because this is one thing about production that I love. And there's one thing that I want to actually make a point of. I constantly have people asking me, and I see also people asking questions like how you should do things or why you should do things. And that's one thing about the production world, music production world. I mean, it's getting narrower and narrower as more technology comes out, but it's one thing I love the most about the production world or music producing is that you can do it any way you want. That is the cool thing about it. There's no one certain way to write music, you know what I mean? It can be done any way that you want to do it. And that's what I love the most about it. Like that's what keeps my mind is going, yeah dude, that's cool. Because it's like something that, you're free. How many things are we free with in this world anymore? You know what I'm saying? You're free to do it any way you want. And that's what I love about producing music. So this is why, you know, each individual producer will have their way of doing things, and it's cool to see. I mean, you pick up tips and tricks as well. You know, you're like, oh well, if a way that you're doing something is a lot slower and painful than someone else is doing, then yeah, cool, adapt to the way they do it. You know, if you want to, it's up to you. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. It's up to you what you want to do. But if you know that something, there is another way to do things, and it's cool to have knowledge. Like, knowledge is power, right? So thanks for tuning in, guys, to Studiopunk. If you've got any questions, post in the comment section below, and I'll try and answer as many as I can. Have a great week, and looking forward to the next episode. Peace out.